All right, let's talk about this some more. We have Seth Berenzweig joining us right now. He's the managing partner of business law firm Berenzweig Leonard. Good morning to you, Seth.
Good morning.
I do want to point out that this is a mostly liberal court, the Ninth Circuit. You've got one Republican and two Democrats. The issue at hand is, does the president have legal authority in this executive order, and were the states able to prove that the administration was targeting Muslims here?
That's exactly right, and we're really at a historic moment right now from a process and in terms of a constitutional moment, because we're litigating nothing less than the constitutional authority of the president to make certain determinations that relate directly to national security. We can debate about whether or not factually there's a basis or not for it, and I know that it's a very controversial political issue, but legally the president has the authority under Article 2 of the Constitution, and now we're in a very unique historic moment because we have two circuits that are battling this through, and we saw this hearing last night in the Ninth Circuit. I thought it was an interesting hearing to listen in on. I thought that the Justice Department attorney got lost in the process and pulled from the substance, and I think that he should have argued more on the substance for the national security and the president's authority, but it'll be very interesting to see. We should probably have a decision within the next few days.
Yeah, and I mean, could be sooner than later. We'll see. Do you buy the argument that the ban caused irreparable harm to the states?
It's a great question. That was something that became a much bigger deal during the hearing last night than I thought that it would. No, I think that that argument is pretty attenuated. Look, if we end up in a situation where state universities, for example, can micro-litigate against the President of the United States on national security issues every time they feel that there is some kind of a disruptive process, then we're never going to get unwrapped from the axle. So I think that that issue is pretty attenuated. But that's an argument that the Ninth Circuit's really having a hard time on, whereas in the Boston case, which is in the First Circuit, it's really headed in an opposite direction. So we might see a situation where we can have a conflict between the East Coast and the West Coast on these kinds of core issues.
There are four possible outcomes here. The restraining order cannot be appealed. The states lack the standing to bring this case. The restraining order was improperly issued by the lower court, and that it was properly issued by that lower court. Where do you see, out of those four outcomes, where do you see this going?
Well, I think that in the short term, I think that the government's going to lose. I think it's going to be probably a 2-to-1 split between essentially party lines, where the two Democratic appointees are going to remand it back to the district court for further proceedings. So I think it's a short-term loss for the administration. But I think in the long term, we're going to see the constitutional authority of the president supported, because at the end of the day, I think that this is something that is supported by the Constitution and by the Immigration Code, which supports the 7 nations of concern. He didn't create that.
Okay, thank you. Seth Berenzweig, managing partner of business law from Berenzweig Leonard. Thank you for your time this morning.
You bet.